James has been taken into custody according to multiple reports. I'm going to cover that and also how the cameras malfunctioned. So apparently there was a camera malfunction at the horrific subway shooting. Faulty subway cameras, camera malfunction, no working cameras at the Brooklyn subway station.
But now police say they're investigating whether these cameras on this day suffered a mechanical or electrical malfunction.
And how he was apparently on an FBI terror list in 2019 where reportedly they cleared him. And then at the end of my live stream, I want to talk about Disney's hypocrisy with their Don't Say Gay bill. We're about to be live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I just wanted to do the breaking news and also kind of segue it into an interesting story, I thought, with the cameras malfunctioning on the subway. The shooter of the Brooklyn subway shooting, Frank James, has been arrested. There are multiple reports, excuse me, if you look at the beginning of my video. Sorry if you guys just came in. Newsweek, Daily Mail, they've reported that the FBI did have some sort of contact with him, or, you know, he was on a terror watch list for a few years. I'm going to talk about that. But real quick, as everybody's coming in, I just wanted to play this clip of an Instagram reel and a TikTok I made where somehow the cameras have malfunctioned. I guess we have Epstein cameras all over the place in New York. And when we actually need them to work with the billions upon trillions of taxpayer dollars we pay, apparently they just don't. So take a look. So apparently there was a camera malfunction at the horrific subway shooting. Faulty subway cameras, camera malfunction, no working cameras at the Brooklyn subway station.
But now police say they're investigating whether these cameras on this day suffered a mechanical or electrical malfunction. Gail?
Okay, need some work to be done there. Thank you very much, Scott.
I guess those Epstein camera systems need some maintenance. Speaking of which, this got underreported a few months ago. Jean-Luc Brunel, dead in his cell. Epstein affiliate, no cameras either. I have a new idea for an invention. It sounds crazy, but hear me out. Cameras that... Yeah, so I mean, what do you guys think in the comment section? Let me know. When it came to the Epstein situation, you know, I'm no conspiracy theorist, but you have maybe the most powerful, you know, alleged obvious human trafficker in the world, and, you know, miraculously his camera doesn't work or malfunctions or whatever. And it's like, you know, I don't even know about malfunctioning cameras at gas stations, let alone you have like one of the world's most powerful person in a prison, which probably should have like, I don't know, hundreds of... If you can record people outside a 7-Eleven against their will, and you can record people at a gas station against their will, you don't think they have some sort of special cameras in Epstein's prison cell? Apparently not. That malfunctions. His associate, Jean-Luc Brunel, his camera malfunctions. And then you have this massive shooting a day after Biden is talking about ghost guns and taking away people's guns. And once again, I'm not saying this is staged. I'm not saying it's planned. I'm just saying, like, if maybe the government's not trying to gain people's trust anymore and the media is not trying to gain people's trust, maybe they're just trying to go full like Xi Jinping, communist China style takeover of America. And in that case, you know, do what you got to do. But if you are actually trying to gain people's trust, when you have a camera malfunction with the Epstein situation, and then you have a camera malfunction with this, it's just not a good look, because it's like, we pay so much tax dollars. You locked us in our houses in 2020. Eric Adams tries to treat people like prisoners and say, you know, you shouldn't be allowed to go in certain areas if you're not vaccinated, force masking children. You know, we're paying all this tax money to be treated like animals by our servants. And then when something happens, like a tragedy really does happen and people get hurt and shot, and we would like to have the footage. I mean, I don't want to see it, but I would like law enforcement to have it, etc. You know, miraculously, they just don't work in the subways anymore. And that's one of two things. I mean, if it truly is a malfunction, electrical or whatever they're saying, you know, fix that stuff. New York City prioritizes all the wrong things. First of all, force masking people has probably been like a criminal's greatest dream. It's like now everybody wears masks. I can wear masks and everybody thinks I'll just fit in, you know, but it's very odd stuff. Just poor management in New York City, like most liberal cities. And, you know, one way or another, they should fix the cameras. Once again, at the beginning of my thing, I showed a Newsweek clip. It said, Brooklyn subway attack, suspect previously known to FBI and cleared. Daily Mail reported, I'm reading it right now, the suspect in Brooklyn subway shooting was on the FBI's terrorist radar in New Mexico until 2019, according to a report, and was cleared after multiple interviews. So apparently he was in contact with the FBI. They knew he was, a terror threat, and, didn't seem to thwart that plot, unfortunately. And here's the thing: I don't think everybody should be labeled a terrorist. I think they're doing it too much. But I will say this, and I have to be as accurate as possible. First of all, if you look at this guy and his YouTube channel, clearly he was a lost soul. He was angry. He was very like race based. And, it's like he was talking about, white people, black people. He was like a typical, I guess, and I wouldn't say typical because clearly not, because he was violent, but he was fueled with all of this racial propaganda, in my opinion, that the media pushes. So now that he did it, and a lot of media is covering up for it, they don't want to talk about his motives. If this was a white person, his motives would be everywhere. If it was race based, I mean, it should be there. I don't care if he's white or black. Like, what did he do this for? Isn't that important? Why did he do it? Was it political? Was it racial? Was it, random? Was he a crackhead? Was he like, let us know. But now, because his ideology kind of lines right up with the left-wing agenda that they're pushing in schools and in media, all of a sudden now they're probably going to just be like, oh, I mean, who knows why this guy did it? I mean, well, luckily he had a YouTube channel that people saved all his videos, and he believes in the same type of ideology that a lot of professors and universities are pushing. And, in my perspective, you're allowed to disagree with me, push whatever ideology you want, even when it comes to race. I'll never call you a racist. I think that word's overused, and I'm willing to debate. But I do think that the media and the school system is radicalizing people. And I think they're making people want to be more violent, more angry. They don't prioritize health. It's like pharmacy pills, vaccines, be angry, like your skin color, either makes you this or that. And it's just unhealthy. So it's not surprising that the media is covering for somebody that they probably helped radicalize through their constant propaganda, fear mongering, and really racial division and negativity. But I do want to say this real quick. I do think that, there's a high chance, or in general, that this guy was just a horrible person. There is evil out there. He's a sicko and he deserves the scrutiny. But the reason people are suspicious, like especially, I'm just going to preface this and be honest. I'm the type of person, you leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. I'm a peaceful citizen. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I don't want to brag, but I would say I'm probably, I'm not going to say one of the better people, but, when it comes to a community, I'm trying to build in my community, protect people. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I don't believe in violence. I'm a good guy to have in the community. That being said, I respect law enforcement, good law enforcement, and I understand it's a tough job, whether it's a police or a higher level person. It's not easy stuff. Like if you're one of those FBI agents, human trafficking, cracking down on it, that's a tough job. If you're one of these border agents cracking down on fentanyl and cartels, that's a tough job. So I want to pay respect to the decent people that I know are still out there. With that being said, though, when it comes to the FBI, it's just a little difficult to really have full trust in it, unfortunately, because when it came to 2020, I'm locked in my house. I disagree with it. I'm not allowed to protest. I'm getting censored on Facebook. I'm not allowed to use my First Amendment right to really be myself and peacefully and legally speak out. Yet the FBI somehow had time to, orchestrate a plot against Gretchen Whitmer, which was then used by the media to demonize people like me, peaceful, law-abiding citizens. Like, these crazy anti-vaxxer conspiracy theorists, lockdown people are kidnapping Gretchen Whitmer. And it's like, you get through that plot and you see that the FBI not only was involved in that plot, but kind of hatched the plot, according to BuzzFeed News and many others. So it's like, what is this agency doing? If you're trying to thwart terrorism, I support that. But if you're creating terrorism or egging terrorists on, at a certain point, when does it go too far? Speaking of it going too far, besides the Gretchen Whitmer plot, I have to go through this story because this is one of the craziest stories ever published. It's in CNN, believe it or not. I got to give credit where it's due. CNN's a garbage organization. I would never, torture myself in watching their television network. However, they did accurately document how this is a story from a few years ago, how an FBI agent was really grooming some Muslim guy and trying to egg him on to commit a terror attack. I mean, it sounds crazy until I read you this article. Stay tuned because I'm going to read the whole thing. Maybe not the whole article, but the main parts. Let's look. This was from a few years ago, 2017. It said how a suicidal pizza man found himself ensnared in an FBI terror sting. This is a story that is reported in mainstream news. I'm just going to read it along. Bear with me. It's a long one. Weeks of desperate messages to Jana culminated a foreboding phone conversation. Ryan told her he had purchased a rope to hang himself. Only in like a minute or two, this will be over, said Ryan. My family is going to be sad for a while, but they'll get over it. Jana responded that the only proper way for Muslims to kill themselves is an act of violent jihad. Like I told you before, when it's for the sake of Allah, when it's jihad, or when it's based on our creed or cause, that the only time Allah allows it, said Jana, but not to put your life to waste and just hang yourself like you say you want to do. That's not the right thing to do. Later in the conversation, Ryan said he did not want to hurt anybody else. He was interested in taking his own life. If I did it to myself, it would be easier, said Ryan. I wouldn't get in trouble. I'm not trying to get arrested again. So this is the story of like a sad suicidal Muslim guy who wants to kill himself. Let's keep reading, but he's being egged on. 2 days after the call, Ryan got an unexpected visit. Federal agents arrested him for possession of a firearm by an unlawful user of a controlled substance. Ryan did not have a new pistol. He didn't have any guns. The firearm in question was a revolver that Detroit police had confiscated months earlier during the traffic stop. Jana, the woman who encouraged Ryan to kill innocent people for Allah, was an undercover FBI employee. Ryan's first love, Gada, was also a fictitious persona. In a court filing, prosecutors declined to reveal what agency or department may or may not have employed the individual who pretended to be Gada. The government had engineered the romantic intrigue to bust Ryan for ISIS support. The FBI spent nearly a year investigating him. Despite the investment of time and resources, the sting failed to yield any terrorism charges. So, if you're reading this story correctly, folks, there's some sort of suicidal Muslim dude, right, who was like depressed, and he was literally saying, I don't want to hurt anybody. I just want to kill myself, which is terrible. But he wasn't trying to hurt other people, to the guy's credit. And you had an undercover FBI agent texting him, pretending to be a Muslim woman, trying to egg him on, saying, kill other people for Allah. I mean, what the hell is this, folks? This is in mainstream CNN news. This got brought out in the courts. It's like, it's one thing to bust a terrorist attack. I don't support ISIS, but when you have a depressed Muslim dude trying to get him to kill other people, like, what if they would have failed? Maybe they're trying to do that and bust him. I'm trying to be an optimist. Like, maybe they just wanted to do that and then arrest him for it. But you're planting these ideas in a guy's head who doesn't even have these ideas, trying to push him to do it. What if he were to do that, right? What if he were to actually do what the FBI agent told him to do, and he did kill a bunch of people? Would they admit to it? Would they say, oops, we messed up. Oops, our bad. We kind of pushed that guy to commit an act of terror. Or would they try to cover it up? I'm not really sure, but the point I'm trying to get to is, after the Gretchen Whitmer plot, if there are terroristic right-wingers who are literally trying to violently assault or kidnap a governor, then you got to do what you got to do. I mean, that's an illegal act of violence. I have no problem with busting people doing that. But if you're literally trying to plant the idea in their heads and hatch the idea out of thin air, I mean, that's a little bit messed up, is it not? I mean, this is the sick stuff that certain people do. So, it's just crazy stuff like this when it comes to malfunctioning cameras, and when it comes to the fact that they knew about this guy for years, talked to him, and said he was no trouble. Maybe that's the truth. Maybe it's hard. You want to give people the benefit of the doubt. I mean, I think they think like millions of Trump supporters are terrorists for simply existing and breathing. So I would hate for them to, go after everybody like that. That's not what I'm asking for. But it's like, at a certain point, sadly, people are going to ask certain questions, because you have these Epstein style cameras where miraculously they just malfunction at these important times. And then, a day after, you have Joe Biden pushing legislation. Once again, I'm not saying it's fake. I'm not saying it's a false flag. I'm not saying people didn't get shot. I'm not saying this wasn't a bad guy. I'm not saying all of that. All I'm saying is reading a real story that happened of an agent trying to egg somebody on, questioning why the heck do cameras keep malfunctioning. And once again, maybe, our enforcement and our, media and our politicians, maybe they're just dumb and they're really trying to gain our trust, or maybe they're not. Maybe they just want to go full communist China or full Russia and just say, shut up. We can lie as much as we want. We can push propaganda, and you just have to succumb to it, or else we're going to fact check you, or else we're going to frame you, or else we're going to lie about you. I don't know what they're going for, but if they're going for trust, I would say fix the cameras, be honest, and, admit when something's going on, because this guy, one way or another, hearing him talk, I saw a few videos of his YouTube channel. I think the media and culture is pushing people to think this way. I really do. I mean, to me, when it comes to racial division, like this guy was like pro-black and he was talking about being anti-white. I'm not saying I'm for it, because I'm not, but I'm just saying I allow racial conversations, whether you're white or black. I'm not the thought police. If you want to make a case for why you want to live amongst only black people and you're black, I'm not just going to call you a racist as long as you're not being evil and violent. You're allowed to feel how you want. There's some Koreans who live in Koreatown and they don't want to live, they want to live around Koreans. I'm not going to call them a racist. That's their preference. But the media is pushing this unholy alliance where, they're making people hate each other. They're not simply saying, hey, respect them, do what you want and live your life. It's like, white man bad, Republican bad, don't say gay bill's evil, they're trying to hurt you, this and that, Black Lives Matter, propaganda on all the NFL fields. Okay, but what is it actually doing? It's a political group. It's not just a racial group. And I don't agree with their motives. It doesn't mean I don't like black people. It means I do. And I just don't like that organization. You have the George Floyd riots where, CNN and a lot of these mainstream news sources kind of covered up a lot of the violence and made it seem like it was this peachy social justice movement so they can use it to their political advantage. And really that sent a shockwave out, not just to Black America, not just to America, but especially to the small percentage of really horrible people who are out there who have really dark thoughts, not just your average activist. That sent a message like, oh, this is not only is this allowed, but it's justified. It's culture now. You know what I'm saying? If you burn billions of dollars of property damage, kill multiple people, burn down Los Angeles and Minneapolis, you might get a slogan on the NFL field. It's like rewarding people for doing evil, rewarding people for killing, the police officer. I forget his name now. I can't think of it. I can't think of his name, but it was the bigger black dude who was a former police officer, got shot at a pawn shop. It's like, yeah, ignore all of that. That's a right-wing talking point and just go and cause chaos. Like, I know people that were so emotionally skewed up by that they were all rambled up and like people were getting upset. So it's like the media causes people to feel like this guy. I'm not trying to take a cheap political point and say, oh, if a right winger does something bad, it's Trump's fault. Or if a left winger does something bad, it's CNN's fault. I'm not trying to score cheap political points and use this to my advantage. I'm just saying that I believe the media is evil. I really do. I don't think they're leading people in a left wing agenda, but like in a totally way that makes them educated and empowered. They don't want you to be empowered. It's like forced masking, lockdowns, like be depressed, take pharmacy pills, inject yourself with Pfizer, white man bad, conservative man bad, put slogans on your shirt, but don't step foot in the arena unless you're a black man who got, vaccinated. Kyrie Irving, like you sit outside or something. And, that's the only activism we're allowed to do and just be ticked off. And it's like, they're not leading anywhere good. They demonize working out. It's like whether you're black, white, woman, man, it's good to be fit. I mean, it definitely doesn't hurt your body or your posture, etc. Oh no, that's a right wing. They're pushing like propaganda, like, oh, that's this right wing crazy thing. Just be 5,000 pounds. And it's like at a certain point, you're leading people towards misery. Same with the kids. If a kid says, "Mommy, I feel this way," that's between the parent and the kid. But if you're like telling 5-year-olds like, oh, you're special if you're trans, you're special if you're gay, oh, you're protected from bullies, and your skin color makes you a pilgrim and you're so horrible, but if you're gay now you're good. I mean, they're pushing people to be gay and trans that wouldn't naturally be. That's just a fact. It's one thing if you have a conversation with a kid and you're the parent and there's a small amount of people that feel a certain way. I mean, I have my opinions about that. I don't have to agree, but I'm just saying it's a lot different than just pumping it through the kids' heads. So it's like, there's going to be millions of kids that are just totally depressed and totally confused in like 10 years. They've been forced masked for years. They've hidden their smile. These psycho, liar doctors are telling them that it's just great for you. And it's like, you don't think there's a psychological to mental impact to covering a kid's face for 3 years and then trying to transition them? I mean, these people are full-blown psychopaths. So without getting too far off topic, while transitioning, this guy was a wicked person. I wouldn't be surprised if he acted by himself. I'm not trying to, suggest anything, but why did the cameras malfunction? Why is it that the FBI has so much time to investigate and call millions of, I don't know if it's millions, but all these Trump supporters for this event that went awry, whatever. If you want to arrest people who went into Pelosi's office, I get it. I think they should be arrested. That's a stupid thing to do. But, it's like miraculously when there's all these terrorist attacks, all this horrible things happening, violence is rising in the cities. They don't seem to care. I mean, go do an investigation in Santa Monica and find out why the USPS doesn't even want to deliver there in what used to be an upscale, nice part of Los Angeles. Now it's too violent for postal people to even walk around there. I mean, is that a concern? Is South Side of Chicago a concern? Or are we spending so much time on politics that we're ignoring psycho murderous people that are known, terrorists that literally want to kill people of another race because he's pumped up with all this BS racial propaganda from the mainstream media. I believe the mainstream media radicalizes people unlike anything else. When it comes to the far, far right and the new age far right, how do you think they got so far right? The media went so far left, and a lot of these people were either traditional conservatives or they were liberals. I know people who went from like far left to far right in 3 years because the media is so psychotic. So if you want to talk about the far right all the time, you radicalize them. You know, the media is responsible and the left wing's responsible for radicalizing them, and some of the moderate conservatives who refuse to have a real conversation about certain topics. And then when it comes to these left-wing people who are just like extremely radicalized, whether it be from one of their 50 agendas that they're pushing, they don't push it in a healthy way. Like, here's what we mean. Here's how we're going to fix it. It's like, America's evil. America's so bad. It's like, that would be like me saying that Michael Jordan was just a gambler. You know, he was a gambling addict. No, Michael Jordan was the greatest basketball player in NBA history who also had a minor gambling problem or a major gambling problem. But that doesn't erase his amazing hit. He's still Michael Jordan. You know, calling America just a horrible racist country would be like calling Michael Jordan a degenerate gambler instead of like a great, you know, athlete. So, you know, that's what they're doing to these kids. That's what they're doing to these adults. And I find it interesting in foreign countries, some of our affiliates and our agencies, you know, work with radicals, really. I mean, they work with, you know, what I would consider terrorist organizations, or at bare minimum, radical jihadis. Like, you know, they even admit to doing that with the Mujahideen and stuff, and these radical Islamic, Wahhabists in Islamic countries, not the good people in Islam. God bless, you know, God is great. I'm talking about the wicked ones that the West kind of puppets and utilizes, like they tried to do that pizza delivery depressed guy. You know, they go overseas, they talk about how bad conservatives here are in America, and then they go over to Ukraine and talk up the Azov battalion and then ban people who talk about the Azov battalion. I'm not telling you who the Azov battalion is, but you could look a few months ago, most mainstream left-wing news sources were calling them neo-Nazis. But now, you know, it's Ukraine. So don't badmouth Ukraine. The Azov battalion is, you know, defending their homeland or whatever. It's like, it's Looney Tunes. You know, they're so mad at, you know, terrorists in America and these crazy conservatives, yet they go over to Islamic countries, work with these rebel groups that are far from moderate, and also companies I'm about to show you, like Disney, that say, don't say gay in America. Oh, they're so pro-gay, yet they go over to Singapore and censor their gay movies because they need to go get that money from conservative countries. Take a look at what Disney really does when, you know, all of the left-wing activists aren't paying attention. Take a watch. Disney has furiously been pushing propaganda against the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida that doesn't actually exist because there is no bill called the Don't Say Gay bill, and the bill they're talking about doesn't actually say that. You should actually read it. However, for all this chatter about Don't Say Gay, it's pretty weird that in 2019 Forbes reported that Disney edits same-sex kiss out of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker in Singapore. If you haven't figured out yet that these left-wing corporations are manipulating social justice and activism to push their own hypocritical, fraudulent form of it, and they don't actually believe in anything they say, when they're going over to other countries, their morals and values just go out the window. I guess we're the only ones here dumb enough to fall for this stuff. Let me know what you think about Disney lying about the Florida bill and then not even following their own values. What do left-wingers in America and degenerate Disney, like, what do they really believe in? If you get to the core of what they believe in, because listen, I don't care, LGBT, this, that. If you disagree with me, I'm willing to have a debate about it. I'm not going to just call you names, okay? But look at degenerate Disney and look at all these left-wing. What do they really seem to care about? Because Disney cares about don't say gay in America, even though they're lying about what the bill says, yet they go over to Singapore and they censor their movies and take out gay kisses because they want to get that Singapore money. You know, it's like a lot of these woke companies, they go over to China and Saudi Arabia, and they'll just switch their laws for more conservative countries. In many ways, China is, you know, speech-wise more conservative than America in a bad way, in my opinion. In Saudi Arabia, you know, socially, they're more conservative. In Singapore, apparently, they're more socially conservative. So if Disney's willing to work with further right-wing and more conservative countries than America, but hates conservatives in Florida, what do they believe? Because they don't believe in don't say gay. They will not say gay if Singapore pays them enough. What do they believe? They just hate America. They hate conservatives. They hate right wingers. They hate Florida. They hate DeSantis. And a lot of them hate you. And that's just the truth of it. Because if I were to be honest and be like, listen, they just really believe in LGBT propaganda or whatever, they really believe in LGBT rights or whatever they're claiming to do. Okay, then are you going to stop doing business in Saudi Arabia? Are you going to stop doing business in China if they block your movie out? Are you going to stop doing business in Singapore? Oh, you're not? Oh, you're not. So do you believe in? Oh, you don't believe in what you say. So what do you believe if you don't believe in what you say? If you're not mad at conservatives around the world, oh, you're mad at conservatives in America, conservatives that are actually liberal and left wing by modern social standards, because they're not even, half as conservative as Saudi Arabia and Singapore in certain ways. So these people are just such frauds. They don't believe in anything that they actually say. It's just absolutely bananas. But God bless you guys. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. Stay peaceful, stay friendly. Unlike the degenerate media, which teaches people to just, suck down as many pharmacy products as possible and just sit there and watch Brian Stelter and Don Lemon say weirdo stuff to you. We try to preach here, not only being peaceful, being healthy, being happy. They want you to be angry. They want you to be, I'm not going to say they want you to be radicalized, but they do want people to fight black, white, left wing, right wing. They don't want you looking for solutions. They want you upset. They want you divided. Stay peaceful, stay happy, stay healthy, enjoy your life, because that's what they hate the most. When you're happy and smiling, they hate it. They want to put your smile behind a cloth, okay? So the real way to win is not to play into their games, not to let them be angry. Buddha used to say, drinking or being angry is like drinking poison, expecting your enemy to die. It's a lose-lose. You just should never, don't let them do what I'm sure a lot of left-wing culture did to Frank James, okay? Because the real way you beat the system is being happy, being healthy, appreciating America like they don't want us to do. All right, God bless you guys. Thank you guys so much. And I will do a few comments on the screen, and then we're going to go. Let's see. Beloved Jay said, let's see. Someone said, laugh at their anger. I mean, try to make them happy. You know what I'm saying? I try to make them put a smile on their face too. I don't even laugh at their anger, but it's like, God bless them. And hopefully they can get that hate out of their heart and get that anger out of their heart. Someone said America was built on division. Vincent, I have to say this. I want to use this example one more time. I thought of it yesterday. Michael Jordan was the greatest basketball player in modern history, in my opinion. Michael Jordan is the GOAT. Okay. That would be like me saying, Michael Jordan was built on a degenerate father, which would be evil because his father passed away. It's messed up to talk about his father. His father's a great father, but it would be like me saying, oh, Michael Jordan was built on this and built on lies, and Michael Jordan's a gambler. It's like, no, that's not who Michael Jordan was. He's one of the greatest athletes in history, and we're all flaws and we all have issues. So the left-wing propaganda wants people to think like you and be like, no offense, but just America was built on division, on lies. I get what you're saying, but of course there was division. I mean, at a certain point, America was divided from Britain. People were divided from each other. There were some wicked things going on, but it's good to tell the full history of America, because the most wicked people in America are trying to convince you that it's all evil, to radicalize people, to get people upset. For what? What's the solution? It's like with the don't say gay. You don't want to say gay in Florida, even though it doesn't even make sense what you're saying, but you'll go over to Singapore and censor your video. So you don't believe in it. It's the same with this. Okay, if we're going to tear down what we built in America because it's so evil and our history so bad, what are we going to rebuild it with? What's coming next? Big government, forced masking, cameras that don't work in Epstein's cell or on subways, lockdowns. Is that what we're going to replace the Constitution with? Thomas Jefferson and George Washington are so evil, so let's just do forced masking for the end of time and lockdowns. I'm sorry. I'm going to choose Thomas Jefferson 10 times out of 10 and the Constitution. So there is a flawed history to our past. The founding fathers were not perfect. America was not completely perfect, but the philosophy that the laws that were originally written or built on are 1,000 times smarter than what Democrats are pushing. And New York City's going to hell because people don't understand that. They don't have any incentive to make that city better because left wingers are running it into the ground. So I don't know. I hear what you're saying. There's obviously been division in history. Some division is healthy, like I want to be divided from evil, I don't act like I want to be everywhere all the time. I don't want to be in evil cities. I don't want to be in New York City. I don't want to be in major left-wing strongholds where they don't have crime under control. If they could get crime under control and stop treating me like an animal, then maybe I'll go to the city. But if they're going to treat me like a secondhand citizen for the crime of being healthier than them and not having mRNA injections every couple months, then I want to be divided from that. So America is still divided, but I want to be divided from evil, not by it. You get what I'm saying? I want to keep that ideology and those people in that world away. I'm divided from my television. CNN is a wicked programming. I was watching like MSNBC. It's just garbage. I want my mind to be divided from the screen when they're on it. So there are definitely some good divisions in America and history in general, but I want to read this real quick. Someone said America is not the greatest. You got an American flag there. Listen, America has flaws. America's not perfect now. I think many things are going down the tube, but I still stand by this. I mean, be grateful for what you have until it's gone. So, it could be better. It could be worse. So all I'm asking, if you think America's not that great, which is totally okay, make it better. Because most people that I find that seem to hate America the most and be the least grateful for it, that's when they're able to manipulate you and build this new future of, big brother government, this new future of, trust us, sit in your house for 5 years. That's healthy for you. People are getting fatter. Pharmacies making a fortune. Oh, just slow the spread. And, it's like, that's not the future I want. So I would prefer classic Americana over that, and by classic, I mean 1990. But in general, I get it. Just please. And this is what I'm going to end on real quick. At least I believe this. It's good regardless, left wing, right wing, black, white, whatever. You don't have to be, extremely thrilled with what's going on in America. I'm certainly not. But try to be a little bit grateful for life, for opportunity to live, do business, whatever you do. Be a little bit grateful and don't have too much hate in your heart, because that's how they're able to manipulate the left wing and the right wing. When you're angry and hateful, you're easy to fool. When you're not grateful, you're easy to fool. I know some people that are right wing. I've had a conversation with somebody recently, great guy. He was talking about how, the founding fathers were not the real deal, that they were liars and they were Freemasons or something. And it's like, maybe they were. I'm not even saying that they were perfect or anything, but when I got to the core of what he was saying, I was like, I'm not saying the founding fathers were perfect. Maybe they were total degenerates. I know Ben Franklin probably was. But in general, I'm like, do you understand how important the First Amendment is? And he couldn't really combat that, where I'm saying, I'm not saying the founding fathers are perfect, but when you're not grateful for something like the Constitution, one of the only documents that's putting space between you and the government, without the First Amendment and the Constitution at all, this country would be a shell of what it is right now. So it's like, even despite the fact you don't have to like the founding fathers like he didn't from a right-wing perspective, sometimes when you're too negative, even if you know everything, if you're a truther, if you're too negative and you're not grateful enough, you're going to lose these things that are helping you. And you never know what you lost until it's gone. So it's like, I agree that, our history is not perfect and the founding fathers could have been total degens, but that doesn't and then he was like, but they're trying to take our guns away. And if they succeed, I'm like, well, you could thank the founding fathers for your guns. The Second Amendment was written by them. You could say they're degenerates, but don't sit here and act like, oh my God, they're so evil. They're Freemasons. They're degenerates. So I'm going to ignore the Constitution. It doesn't matter. It's like, if it doesn't matter, then turn your guns in. If it doesn't matter, then move to China. Why? It's like people that are ungrateful are the easiest to manipulate. Doesn't matter how smart you are, or how right wing you are, or how patriotic you are. Don't be ungrateful and don't be angry, because that's how the enemy, and that's how, people that are going to take power and liberty away from you are going to manipulate you. And I see it happening to millions of even like right-wing people, because, they're always focusing on things they don't like instead of trying to get to the root of what they do. So God bless y'all. Hold on to your freedom. And, I'll just say this to end. As somebody who lived in Los Angeles, and I've been to New York City a bunch of times, what they did during the lockdowns and how left-wingers treat like families and decent people. I lived in LA for 7 or 8 years. I know a lot of good people. A lot of good people that I know left the city. Not all, there's still great people there, but it's like, what type of future are you building? When you look at these left-wing tech companies, they're so mad at Elon Musk for talking about free speech. What type of future are they building? They're not building a future with the First Amendment. They're not at Facebook, not at Google, not at Twitter. They don't like the First Amendment. They're not liberals like Noam Chomsky was in 1970. Liberals used to believe in free speech, just like conservatives. I would say conservatives used to be worse on it. But nowadays, left wingers are openly telling you, we don't believe in free speech. Free speech is the enemy. We believe in hate speech. And if we can't censor and authoritarian dictate your speech, we don't like it. So that's the future that left wingers are building. I'm just telling people, identify what's going on. And when it comes to New York City and LA, when you put out policy that drives away millions of businesses, millions of families, millions of good people who want to live there, but crime is rising, lockdowns are too much. What type of people are you attracting? Sorry, you're not attracting the winners. What type of people are you pushing away? The winners, the good families, the people that want to raise their kids around a park that isn't filled with piss, crap, and people stabbing each other, where liberals with blue hair come out and say, oh no, don't clean up the park. I like it disgusting. I like living in a urinal. So you're chasing people away. It's like New York City. I'm not saying it is what it is, but how is crime going to go down when millions of smart people that have the financial resources to get out of that city leave, and then people that are committing crime and people that are doing degenerate stuff, they feel more emboldened by the media, emboldened by this fake racial activism that they're pushing in the media. I'm not saying all racial activism is real, but the corporate brand that all the major corporations, they're not Malcolm X by any means. It's like, at the end of the day, these communities are going to start to rot. So I would be shocked if New York City gets better, because smart people are heading out of the city. Smart people are heading out of Los Angeles. I mean, some people are staying. There are smart people that are there for a job, or they're born there and they want to resurrect it, which is a great thing. I think it's great if you're from New York City to stay there, you're from LA to stay there, if you have your roots there and that's what you believe in. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying, it's like, I would be shocked if it's like that type of energy is becoming more and more prevalent in the city, and the type of people that would, really hold down a neighborhood and keep it safe and, keep an eye out. I mean, they're looking for neighbors that agree with them, which you're finding in more suburbs nowadays, or more conservative areas, places where the police, patrol and people enjoy it and they're not crying. Like, it's like a different reality. Like, what a right winger and a left winger thinks, let's be honest, it's like 180 from each other. And I just don't think the left style works, and it's definitely going to fail the cities. So, I would be shocked to see cities get better at this point, but until some sort of change happens and people really swing the other way. That's my thoughts. Thank you guys so much. And before I leave, real quick, I just want to show you one more thing. These are my new hats. I appreciate it. I don't do sales. I don't sell corny stuff that I don't agree with like most people. I sell my own hats. These are God bless hats. We have baby blue hats. We have pink hats. We have stone colored cream hats. We have blue, navy blue beanies for the first time in a while. I think we had like 8 a couple months ago. We have the green Dream Rare hats, the Freedom Over Tyranny shirts. And when this goes off the screen, the Dream Rare hoodies, the God is Great long sleeves, made in the USA, stitched in the USA, picked in the USA. It's all USA. I got 2 right here. I just want to show you how slick they are. They come with an American flag. They also come with another American flag. You see what I'm saying? Because that's just how we do it. One in the middle, real made in the USA stuff, same price they were. Thank you guys for that. I just wanted to show you because I really sell things. This is the only thing I sell. I don't take sponsors. Someone can offer me $1 million for something stupid. I'm not even lying to you. I wouldn't take it if I didn't believe in it. So that's what I believe in, my hats at the moment. If I have other products that I like, I'll tell you, but that's what keeps my show sponsor free. That's what keeps me, besides just my own morals and my own values, that's what keeps me unlobbyable, corruptible. I don't even think it's the fact that I'm making money on hats, to be honest. I wouldn't do that. Like, there's certain things I see people do. Some people will do anything for money. It's like, I don't care if you came to me with $100,000 and said, sell this garbage product one time. I'd be like, no, godblesshats.com. I'd rather make, 10% of that than sell some sort of garbage product or stupid thing I don't believe in. I don't do it. That's why I just want to let y'all know godblesshats.com or my Patreon, also down here. Appreciate y'all. Have a good day. Thank you for this. Share this video if you like it. It's on TikTok, Instagram. I have little reels of the camera malfunction, and let me know what you think. I appreciate your time as always, and I will stay busy and focused trying to make good content for you guys. Appreciate it. Also, Dream Rare podcast is out now. You can listen to a lot of my best live streams if you're on the go or you like podcasts. It's 100% free podcast. I'm trying to compete on Spotify, Apple, everything with other podcasts. So check it out. Dream Rare Podcast, DREAM space RARE. Same as my website, dreamrare.com right there. Dream Rare Podcast. Appreciate y'all. Smash the like button. As Jerry said, smash it, but don't smash it too hard because we can't, you don't want to break your key because I'm not going to be paying for it. Okay. It's a recession out here, but appreciate y'all. Have a good day. I'll be back soon.